Hello everyone, hope you are already having a great day. Welcome to the YouTube channel of Artyshils Art Brushes. This is Aishwarya, the watercolor, acrylic as well as mandala artist from Aishwarya Expressions on Instagram, and here's to make your day even better with a watercolor rose. A lot of people find it difficult to draw and paint a rose, and trust me when I say this, after you watch this video, painting a rose is going to be easy like never before. So make sure you watch this video till the end, and the materials we need for that are a watercolor sketchbook. You can also use loose watercolor papers, masking tape, artist grade watercolors, a pencil and an eraser, a glass of water, and our happy brushes, that is our Artyshils Art Brushes, because these are extremely versatile. For this artwork, I'll be using round brushes by Artyshils Art Brushes because these are smooth as butter and suitable for both beginners and professionals. And blender brushes as well because these are made with special care for blending purposes in our paintings. So let's not delay more and get started. We have our sketchbook ready and taped from all sides. We'll begin with drawing a rectangle right at the center of the page. Then an inverted triangle attached to the left side of the rectangle, another triangle thinner than the previous one on the right side, and then we'll divide the rectangle into halves. Now these shapes are gonna serve as your grid, which will make drawing the petals easier than drawing them freehand. So now that we have kind of a grid, we will draw the petals in each of these, starting from the lower rectangle, then the upper one, then on the left triangle, and then on the right. I'm using a mechanical pencil to draw the whole thing because I want the lines to be fine and sharp throughout. The key is to simply observe the reference and fill in each rectangle or triangle with petals. And this is how dividing the whole thing into smaller parts or simpler parts makes it easier for us to draw it out. We'll also add a stalk to the rose and a leaf as well, and after we complete sketching the rose out, we will be rubbing out the unwanted lines. Now that we are done with the sketch, we'll begin painting the rose out using a round brush of number 4. We will start with painting the petals of the rose. All the petals will be painted separately using wet on wet technique of watercolors. So we will first wet one petal and add the required colors to it and blend them, and this will form the first layer of the petals. One little tip while doing this will be not to color adjacent petals one after another, as the colors may spread out and get mixed up, leading to unnecessary results. The main process here will just be applying a darker value of the colors on the extreme left of each petal and then go on diluting it till we reach the right end. This is exactly similar to the process of swatching of watercolors. You can see that even though the rose is overall white in color, we have to add a lot of colors to put that thing up. We have started painting the rose from its topmost part, and we are gradually moving downwards, and this is to prevent our hands from getting touched to the areas that are still wet in the painting. So this is just a little advice to the beginners to paint with watercolors from upward to downward and from left to right to prevent spoiling of the colored portions of the painting. Also, do not forget to put lighter colors first in each petal and then the darker ones, because as we all know, watercolors are water based. So if we put darker colors first and then the lighter ones, it will get mixed up and the lighter ones will not be visible. And now we can also see why I said that round brushes by Artyshils Art Brushes are super smooth to paint with. You can see how we can paint all of these petals by just one of these brushes, because not only are these round brushes made for simply filling up spaces, but also the tip of these round brushes are pointed enough to paint in smaller areas. Also, these round brushes hold a lot of water and a lot of paint, which aided to the wet on wet technique that we applied for painting the first layer of the rose. Now here's a friendly reminder for you guys that if you have yet not checked out the page of Artyshils Art Brushes on Instagram, do check it out and connect with many other artists around the world who are relishing these brushes and creating amazingly beautiful paintings with them. I am a part of this community and I really want you to join us. Also, do check out www.artyshils.com to shop the whole range of Artyshils Art Brushes at unbelievable prices. You can also check out my works at Aishwarya Expressions, where most of my paintings are made with this wonderful brushes, and where you will get a lot of artworks to see which are made using different mediums and a lot of art tips and problem solving sessions. We will continue with wet on wet technique for coloring the petals, even if it is the smallest part of the rose, and wow, Artyshils Art Brushes are so comfortable to paint with. For the leaves, it will always be lemon yellow first and then dark green over it. We will now begin with the second layer of the painting, starting with the leaves and the stalk of the rose. And now we will move on to darkening the colors of the petals, especially on the left side of the rose, because the light on the rose will be from the right side. And in case you are still confused with the colors that are being used in this painting, they are cerulean blue. For everywhere I have used blue first, and a bit of cobalt blue as well, lemon yellow, different values of crimson red, yellow ochre, vermilion hue, burnt sienna, burnt umber for dark brown, flesh tint which can be made using white and a little amount of vermilion hue. I've also used purple for darkening the petal on the left side of the rose, and for the green in the leaves and the stalk, I've used sap green. The inner portions of the rose needs to be darkened, because as we go deeper into a rose, we can see that the light there is a lot lesser as compared to the light falling on the outer petals. Now for some more detailings, we will be using brush number 2 of the set of round brushes for some fine lines and a bit more darkening of the colors. Even the stalk will be darker on the left side and lighter on the right. Darkening the edges of the petals on the left side of the rose will help us differentiate one petal from the other. Note that we will not be coloring the whole of any petal, and even if we do so, we will give enough spaces for the lighter colors to show up, as the rose is actually white in color. For the background, we will be using brush number 6 of the set of round brushes by Artyshils. The background will be totally black in color, and the value of the color should be uniform everywhere, which can only be achieved through proper blending. The blender brushes set by Artyshils Art Brushes are specially designed for blending purposes in our paintings, and now you know why we are using this. We will apply wet on wet technique for the background as well, which will help in proper spreading and distribution of the colors. When you are using this black to fill up the background, remember to use it very carefully so that you don't put it into the rose. After the background is completely filled up, we will use brush number 4 of the round brushes set to fix the sharp edges of the petals. We will make these edges a bit round to give this rose a delicate look, followed by some finishing touches. Finally, it's time for us to peel off the tapes, and before you do so, make sure that the painting, especially the background, is completely dried up, otherwise the paper will be torn apart along with the tape. And after we are done, this is how it will look. And this brings us to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed the process of painting this rose with me, and I hope now it will be easier for you to draw one. So what are you waiting for? Give it a try, and do not forget to post it on Instagram and tag Artyshils Art Brushes and Aishwarya Expressions, as we are already waiting to see them. Also, do not forget to shoot your questions in the comment section. We are ready to answer them for you. So that's all for today. See you later. Happy creating!